Right now, companies are planning their 2026 AI budgets, and I have analyzed hundreds of projections, industry reports, and early hiring trends. The numbers for Claude Architects aren't just surprising, they reveal a massive shift in how we value AI expertise. If you are thinking about this career, or wondering where the money is going, you need to see this breakdown. The highest paid Claude architects will make $1.3 million. Here's the truth. But that number is just the floor. What moves you up is critical. You stop just implementing solutions and start architecting them. This shift from following blueprints to drawing them is where your value explodes and where that salary range begins its steep climb toward the elite tier. The elite tier begins at $300,000, and the defining pattern is ownership. You are no longer solving isolated problems. You are defining the entire technical strategy, becoming the singular voice of reason for major business initiatives. The market will reward architects who can translate complex business risk into a clear, future-proof technical vision. Think of it as building a new city, not just a bridge. At this level, you are the master urban planner, ensuring every system, infrastructure, zoning, future growth works in perfect harmony for decades. Your salary reflects the immense responsibility of guaranteeing that an entire enterprise's future does not just function, but thrives on the architecture you design. That plus isn't just a number, it is a status. The industry desperately wants specialists who can see around corners with Claude, solving problems that do not exist yet. You are not being paid to follow a blueprint, but to invent the tools and the rulebook simultaneously. That premium is for vision so rare, it defines the market itself. The industry's 2026 salary predictions for Claude architects are dangerously misleading. But why does that $220,000 number feel so wrong for the tech sector? Because the key insight is the real money is in specialization. Generic cloud roles are saturated. What this means is, if you are designing AI-native financial systems or autonomous platforms, you are commanding premiums the average cannot show. Now, let's get specific. This pattern clearly indicates that the most lucrative applications are mission-critical. $280,000 isn't just for coding, it is for architecting systems where microseconds and precision directly translate into millions. Here's what's really happening. The premium is for reliability and strategic advantage in environments that cannot afford to fail. Think of it as building a modern hospital. You are not just designing rooms, you are orchestrating the critical life support systems. The $260,000 average represents a premium for mastering the complex, regulated framework that holds everything together. One architectural decision here can impact patient safety, making your expertise a non-negotiable strategic asset. Now, shift your focus from building hospitals to designing the vehicle's brain. The $245,000 average reflects the immense risk premium for latency-critical systems. Your architecture isn't just processing data, it's executing split-second decisions where a millisecond delay has a physical, real-world consequence. This is where pure technical mastery directly translates to valuation. Forget those optimistic reports. The top-tier salary data reveals a harsh reality. The real difference isn't just your base pay. That 25% bonus is a huge swing, but it is just cash. The massive wealth creation comes from equity. This is where you choose between immediate rewards and a long-term bet on the companies and your future success. Now, that bonus range is just a polite greeting. The brutal truth. Your equity package is the real negotiation. You are not trading hours for dollars, you are choosing a timeline. Do you take the guaranteed cash today, or accept discounted paper betting you can build something worth 10x? That's the decision that creates millionaires. So, is that equity paper worthless? Not even close. In the right hands, it is a wealth creation engine. The key insight is simple: high-growth companies are paying you in future value. Accepting that risk means your work directly fuels a valuation surge, and when it hits, your total compensation does not just double, it can completely rewrite your financial story. So, how do they keep you? Through calculated reinvestment. The pattern clearly indicates you are not just getting a single grant. Instead, you receive structured stock refreshers at key intervals, turning retention into a tangible, growing stake. What this means is your long-term bet compounds, directly tying your continued impact to the company's escalating success. Projections claim 6 figures, but reality is far more unsettling. Think that major hub premium is a windfall. The key insight is brutally simple. That extra 25% isn't a raise, it is an offset. The pattern clearly indicates you are being compensated to survive a specific location's expense, not rewarded for superior skill. What this means is your real purchasing power often ends up lower than colleagues living strategically elsewhere. And here's the harsh truth about being fully remote. That 95% pay floor. It is a ceiling. The market is correcting, and location is no longer your leverage. The key insight is that true earning power is now decoupled from geography, it's anchored to your measurable impact and the scarcity of your architectural skills. You compete on value, not your zip code. Think of it this way: Austin or Seattle isn't the discount aisle anymore, it is a different flagship store with the same price tags. Companies are willing to pay full price for the right talent, regardless of the local cost of living. The playing field is leveling. Your value as an architect is the only currency that truly matters now. Now, let's talk about international compensation. The data shows a distinct pattern: that historical 30% discount for remote global talent is evaporating, especially for principal and lead architects. The key insight is that companies are now competing in a single, global market for top-tier architecture skills. What this means is your compensation is increasingly determined by your caliber, not your coordinates. Those 2026 salary forecasts? They are dangerously, deliberately wrong. But that premium is not about scale. The key insight is orchestration. What this means is moving from managing a single powerful model to designing an ecosystem where specialized Claude instances debate, verify, and build upon each other's work. The pattern clearly indicates that the architects who master this conversational hierarchy will command those top-tier offers. Now, let's talk about the premium skill. Security and compliance isn't about checklists, it is about designing unbreakable trust. In finance and healthcare, your architecture must be the evidence. You will build the defensible decision trails that prove every outcome, making you the indispensable link between innovation and the law. This is the single greatest salary lever you can pull. The next frontier is financial intelligence in code. Your proven ability to scale sophisticated systems without scaling costs becomes your most compelling argument. You do not just architect for performance, you architect for profit. This is how you move from being a technical cost to a strategic asset, directly tying your genius to the company's bottom line. That is a premium worth paying for. So you can connect it to systems, but can you translate between them? True mastery means Claude speaks the language of a 30-year-old mainframe and a brand new robotic arm, interpreting data into coherent action. This fluency erases costly integration layers, unlocking entire new product categories. That's not just a skill, it is a revenue engine you alone can build. You are being wildly misled about future AI engineer salaries. Now, picture this, a sudden regulatory shift creates entirely new domains overnight. The engineers who master compliance-first architecture, they will not just be safe, they will command immense premiums while the broader market cools. Your advantage lies in anticipating these constraints and turning them into your most valuable specialization before the wave even hits. Here's the genuine danger. Imagine tooling that practically deploys itself. That is commoditizes the basics, and your implementation work becomes a race to the bottom. But this isn't about elimination, it is about concentration. The real money will not vanish, it will shift dramatically toward the specialists who design the systems others simply operate. Do not let your skill plateau. But here's the real pressure point. What if the ecosystem itself fragments? A breakthrough in open source could redirect an entire company's strategic budget overnight. When the foundational tools become radically cheaper or more accessible, it fundamentally reshapes where the high-value work and the premium salaries can even exist. Your entire market position hinges on staying ahead of that curve. So, what's the wild card that changes everything? The key insight isn't just economic cycles. It is a strategic shift by your employer. A complete pivot in their product roadmap or a merger that deprioritize your entire technical stack could make your role redundant overnight. Your value is tied directly to their core business direction. Claude Architect salaries in 2026 will be defined by specialization, not just experience, domain and technical niche matters most. Total compensation will heavily favor equity and long-term incentives, making company choice as important as role. The remote premium is real, but location still impacts career trajectory and access to elite projects. Let me know in the comments which industry you think will have the highest demand for Claude Architects by 2026 and why.